So in this video we'll be going over fractions. So let's say we have 1 over 2. So what does this even mean? So first of all, you need to understand that the upper number is called the numerator and the lower number, the number which is down, is called the denominator. And the denominator is how many pieces we have in total, and the numerator is the one which we have. So let's say we have a pizza, a rectangle pizza, and we have in total 2 pieces, and the numerator is telling you that we have 1 piece. So out of 2 pieces we have 1 piece. And simply, if I write this 1 over 2, it's basically doing 1 divided by 2, which is 0.5. Another way of thinking of it. Now we have 3 types of fractions, which are proper fractions, improper fractions, and mixed fraction. So proper fraction is when the numerator is less than the denominator. So let's say 4 over 5, since the numerator is less than the denominator, and improper meaning that the denominator is less than the numerator. So let's say 5 over 4. And mixed is when we have a whole number with a fraction. So let's say 1 and then 1 over 4. And the way to convert an improper fraction to a mixed fraction is to divide the numerator by the denominator. So 5 divided by 4 is equal to 1, and the remainder will be 1, right? So it will be the quotient as the whole number, and then the remainder 1 over the original denominator, so 4. And that's how we convert a improper fraction to a mixed fraction. Let's do one more example to convert it. So let's say we have 7 over 4. So 7 divided by 4 is equal to 1, remainder 3. So now the whole number and then the remainder over the original denominator, which is 4. So it's going to be 1 as the whole number and 3 over 4 as the fraction. So now let's move on to how do we add and subtract fractions. The first case that you can have is that the denominators of the two fractions that you're trying to add are the same. So let's say we have 1 over 3 plus 2 over 3. Since we can see that the denominator is same, then we can directly add these up. So it will be 3 over 3, which is equal to 1. Since 3 divided by 3 is 1. Now we can also, let's say, do 2 over 3 minus 1 over 3. So we can again see that the denominators are the same. So we can apply addition or subtraction immediately to the numerators. So here 2 minus 1 is 1 over the original denominator. Now what if the denominator is not the same, if you're trying to add and subtract? So let me erase all these. So this is the easy case. So let's say we have 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3. So how do we do this? So the first step here is to make both of the denominators the same, and we can do that by multiplying the left fraction by 3, both the numerator and the denominator, and the right fraction also by 2. So we multiply the denominators by each other, and now you will have 1 times 3 is 3 and 2 times 3 is 6 minus 2 times 1 times 2 is 2 over 3 times 2 is 6. So now we can see that the denominator is the same, and basically what we did here is find the least common multiple of the denominators. And if you think about it, 1 over 2 is the same as 3 over 6, right? Since it's still the half, but we just increase the multiplicity to 3 over 6. But 1 divided by 2 is 0.5, And 3 divided by 6 is also 0.5. And the same case over here, 1 divided by 3 is 0.333, and 2 divided by 6 is all the same. So that's basically what we did, and this is a step that you have to do when the denominator is not the same. We find the least common multiple for the denominator, which is normally just multiply both of the denominators by each other. And now we can perform the minus. So 3 minus 2 is 1, and over 6, so that stays the same. Let's do another example for these type of questions. So let's say we have 1 and 1, let's plus it this time, and we have 3, so 1 over 3 plus 4, 1 over 4. So again, the first step is to multiply both of the denominators by each other. So 3 times 4, and remember to do multiplied by the numerator also, 1 times 4 here. And for the right fraction, we'll do the same, but we'll multiply by the other denominator, which is 3 here. So 1 times 3 here, and 4 times 3. And now we will have 1 times 4 is 4, 3 times 4 is 12, and here we have 1 times 3, which is 3, over 4 times 3, which is 12. So now we can do the addition since the denominators are the same. 4 plus 3 is 7, and the denominator stays the same. Now let's move on to multiplication of fractions. So for multiplication of fractions, we don't care about the denominator. So let's say we have 1 over 3 multiplied by 2 over 4, or let's say we have 2 over 5. So all we do for multiplication is multiply the denominator, which is 3 times 5, which is 15, and multiply both of the numerators. Pretty simple. 1 times 2 is 2, and that's it. So we don't need the same denominators. Remember, for addition and subtraction, we do need to make it the same denominators. Let's say, let me show you an example for 1 over 2 plus 1 over 3. So let's say we have a pizza which has 2 pieces, and we have a pizza which has 3 pieces as this one. So do you think we can add this if they are not the same size? If you think about it, because this is divided. Actually, let me make them the same size. So do you think we can add them properly if they are not the same size? No, right? So what we do here basically is when we make it the same denominators, so 1 times 3 is 3 over 6 plus 2 over 6 here, we are making them the same size. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you get my point. But yeah, so that's another way of thinking about it. But for multiplication, we don't care for the denominator. We multiply the numerators by each other and the denominators by each other. So here 1 times 2 is 2, 3 times 5 is 15. Let's do another example here. And this time try to do it yourself. 2 over 3 multiplied by 3 over 4. So again, just multiply the numerators. 2 times 3 is 6 over the denominators, which is just 3 times 4, which is 12. And you can realize that we can simplify this since we can divide both the fractions, numerator and denominator, by 6. So 6 divided by 6 is 1, and 12 divided by 6 is 2. So it's just a half. Now the last thing left is dividing fractions. It's also pretty similar to multiplication, except that you have to do one step. So let me show you. Let's say we have 1 over 2 divided by 3 over 4. So what do you think we should do here? The first step is to change this division sign into multiplication, and the way to do that is just flipping the divisor. So here we can write this as 1 over 2 multiplied by, and we flip the denominator with the numerator and the numerator with the denominator here. It's going to be 4 over 3, and now we perform the multiplication. So here is going to be 1 times 4, which is 4, over 2 times 3, which is 6, and that's the final answer, 4 over 6, and we can divide both the numerator and denominator by 2, so we can simplify this to 2 over 3. Let's do one more example for division. So let's say we have 2 over 3 divided by 4 over 5. So you pause the video and try to do this yourself. So again, the first step is to change this division sign into multiplication. So it's going to be 2 over 3. The first number stays the same, first fraction, multiplied by, now we flip the denominator and the numerator. It's going to be 5 over 4. And now we just multiply it. So 2 times 5 is 10. And then 3 times 4 is 12, and we can realize that we have a factor for the numerator and the denominator, which is 2. So divided by 2, it will be 5 over 6. So now let's start with the real questions, real challenging questions I'm going to give you now. So let's say we have 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3 plus 1 over 4 multiplied by 1 over 2, or let's say 1 over 5 divided by 1 over 6. So how do you think we should do this? Now the first step you should know is the rule that you have. I'm pretty sure you heard about this, so it's called BODMAS. So that means brackets order division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Meaning you always start with the brackets. We don't have any brackets order, we don't have any order here. Division and then multiplication. So this does not really matter. Multiplication and division are done at the same level, and then we proceed with addition and subtraction. So here what we need to do here is first the multiplication and the division. It doesn't matter which order you do, division first or multiplication. So I'm going to start from the left hand side to the right hand side here. So it is going to be 1 times 1, which is going to be 1. I'm going to separately do this here. 1 times 1, which is 1, over 4 times 5, which is 20, right? Now, continuing on, is going to be divided by 1 over 6. So now you know how to do division now. So we first get rid of the sign and times it, and we flip the second fraction. So it's going to be 6 over 1. Now 1 times 6 is 6. And 20 times 1 is 20. Another way to simplify this is that if you look cross multiply it, we can actually factor this. So what is the common factor between 20 and 3? We can divide both sides by 3, right? This is going to be 3 and this is going to be 10. Now if we times it, 1 times 3 is 3, and 10 times 1 is just 10. So that's another quick way. You can multiply it normally and then simplify it, or you can simplify it in the multiplication. So this entire thing, the multiplication and division here, is 3 over 10. So let me just remove all this now. So we already simplified that. It's gonna be 3 over 10. Now you also need to know that addition and subtraction is performed at the same level, meaning that we can perform any of them and we'll get the same answer. It doesn't matter which order you subtract or add it. So here we have 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3. So we are doing addition and subtraction. The denominators has to be the same. So here we need to multiply the denominator over here. So 2 times 3 and 1 times 3 here, and the other one will be 1 times 2, 1 times 2, 3 times 2. This is going to be 3 over 6 minus, what is 1 times 2 is going to be 2, and the denominator here is the same. Now the denominators are the same, so we can subtract it now. It's going to be 1 over 6. So this part over here is 1 over 6. Now we have 1 over 6 plus 3 over 10. Here what we can do is again multiply the denominators by each other. So it's going to be 6 times 10 and 1 times 10. And for the other one, it's going to be 3 times 6 and 10 times 6. So it's going to be, I'm going to write it below, 10 over 60 plus 3 times 6 is 18 over 60. Now we can add it up, so it will be 28 over 60, and we can realize that we can divide both sides by both numerator and denominator by 2, so it will be 14 over 30, and we can still divide it by 2 again, so it's going to be 7 over 15, and that is the final answer. Now another way of finding the common denominator is finding the least common multiple between the denominators. So what we do for that is we simply, this is the answer that we got, so it is right. This is just another way I'm teaching guys. So let's write the factors of 6 and 10 until we find a common one. So it's going to be 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, and for 10 is going to be 10, 20, 30. So we realize that we found a common factor, which is 30. And I'm not saying that 60 is wrong, but 60 is just, it's bigger number, and when you have like more fractions, bigger fractions, are going to be harder to find the multiple, right? So here, what we did with 6 is we multiplied by 5. 6 times 5 is 30. So what we can do here is we can multiply 1 times 5, which is 5, 6 times 5, which is 30, and we will still get the same denominator, so we'll be able to plus it or subtract it, vice versa. So 10 times 3 here, since 10 times 3 is 30, and 3 times 3, which is 9. So now what we have left is 5 over 30 plus 9 over 30, which is going to be 14 over 30, and then we can simplify this to 7 over 15, which is the same answer. So whatever method works better for you, you go ahead with it. Doesn't matter, both methods are right. And yeah,